The NHL on NBC is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Earthlink. We revolve around you. By Sprint, official wireless provider of the NHL. And by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it. Now to our goalkeepers. Regarded as the best goalie to come out of Sweden in a quarter century since Pelle Lindbergh, Henrik Lundqvist.
And he will be the Swedish goaltender for the Olympics coming up in Italy. And there's a lot of Swedish players on this Detroit team going against him.
32-year-old native of Toronto, Manny Legacy. Not really pegged as the number one here, but he is.
You saw his record, way over 500. You take the previous 4 seasons he played. How about his record? 71, 26, and 16. All he does is win.
For the 337th time, there'll be a sellout here. Let's check in with Pierre.
All 5 starting players for the New York Rangers from the Czech Republic. John talked about all the Swedes for Detroit. How about all the Czechs for the Rangers? 7 in total.
Afternoon, sometimes the seats don't all fill up yet because there's a car show on and people are trying to get here. But you'll see 20,066 to watch these two teams. Such a success for hockey in Detroit as Jágr tries to move in with his unit, denied by the close checking unit for Detroit.
Yeah, that close checking unit as Detroit ices the puck was Nicklas Lidstrom, the left defenseman, number 5. The game plan for Mike Babcock, the head coach of Detroit, is to have that man, many consider the best defenseman in the National Hockey League, and Detroit's head coach, Mike Babcock, says it's the best hockey player he's ever coached. He'll see a lot of Jaromir Jágr in this game. That'll be the hometown matchup.
And Tom Rennie's not going to bail out of that, John, right now. Straka and Jágr, he could have changed, Tom Rennie did, but he's going to leave Straka, Jágr, and Ruchinski on the ice against Lidstrom. He's going to make those guys have to fight through that matchup.
And Pierre also, it's that centerman right there, Draper, his line along with Lidstrom. So it's not only a defenseman, it's a whole unit of 5 people. The Draper line goes against the other team's best line almost every night.
Well, with the absence of Darius Kasparaitis, you mentioned briefly at the top of the show, John, the effect that's going to have on the Rangers only being able to use 5 defensemen.
5 defensemen and 2 left, 3 right. Kasparaitis is a left defenseman. Usually teams go with 6, 3 different pairs. So Strudwick and Malik, and Strudwick just got double teamed. Strudwick and Malik are the left defensemen. They're going to see a lot of ice time in this game this afternoon.
Strudwick got the number. It was Maltby he was yelling at as they parted ways.
I thought they were trying to hit McGuire down there.
Well, not a bad target to shoot at, we understand.
Not a big deal right now, but the physical plays, what the Detroit Red Wings want to have right now. They want to attack the skill of the Rangers with a whole lot of physicality.
Well, at the beginning, they have to think they have them down with the loss of the defenseman as Shanahan hammers one that is blocked away by Lundqvist. This is the top scoring line for Detroit, and the Rangers, of course, will counter with theirs. You'll notice the star clock. We are keeping track of Brendan Shanahan's shift. We'll do the same for Jaromir Jágr during the afternoon.
Teams want their players to make their shifts short. And when you think of Shanahan, he had 43-second shift averages in his last game. There's the big hit. Franzen and Maltby, a double team on Strudwick, who's a great big tall defenseman for the Rangers. First faceoff now in the Rangers zone.
Robert Lang wins it. Big drive by Jason Woolley was blocked aside. And the Red Wings keep the pressure on with Woolley banking one off, hoping for Michael Samuelsson. But instead, it is centered in front off a skate. Reaching for it, but unable to get there was Samuelsson, and so once again it's brought ahead.
Mike, Rangers lost the draw, but Pruka, number 25, got out and blocked the shot. He's only 23 years of age. He's only 172 pounds, but he's fearless on the ice.
Samuelsson once more.
Fellas, you know, Nick Lidstrom's still on the ice because Sikora, Ruchin, and Pruka are on the ice, so look for Nick Lidstrom to play about 30 minutes here this afternoon.
Peter Sikora, wearing white jersey number 17, the puck just went by him there, has played 3 games now. This is the 3rd with the Rangers. He has goals in the prior 2 and threw one in front that ricocheted right around where Legacy could grab.
Traded by Anaheim to the Rangers. The key here is his centerman with the Rangers for the first 2 games is Steve Ruchin. They played together for about 35 games as teammates in Anaheim, so they know how each other's tendencies go. And now this was the very first game he played as a Ranger. That was a move in front. Straka scored, and then the goal here goes off the defender, Phaneuf, and over the shoulder of Kiprusoff. 2 points in the game. First star after the game on the win. And then the second game he played, he had another 2 points. So he's had a good start with the Rangers.
I talked to him before the game, and he was just bubbly. He was so excited to be a part of this as Brett Lebda's shot is out of the glove of Lundqvist, the Notre Damer. Nearly counters one there for Detroit. Now up with it is Dan Cleary. Wheeling around. Cleary tried to send one in front. It ricocheted around in the crease. They battle for it there, and Lundqvist is on top of it.
Pressure, pressure, pressure game by the Detroit club. They love to send two men in. Lundqvist hangs on.
Henrik Lundqvist does have a helmet cam, but practiced with it yesterday. Was not really comfortable with it yet. And we defer to that. It's the goaltender's choice. We respect that. Kevin Weeks wore it in the warm-up, and that's the shot that you get from it. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be cool once they get it organized. It's a tiny little camera that's built right into the chin of the goal mask. There's not much weight to it, but it's a new goal mask that Lundqvist would have had to have worn, and it didn't fit just like his older one, so he deferred, and we'll try it at another date, and I think it's going to work.
3 of the 4 goalies that we will be seeing, John, you and I, when Philadelphia plays in Pittsburgh, had it. Marc-Andre Fleury has actually worn it twice in American League games last year and was the winner both times. Robert Esch wore it in a preseason game for Philadelphia against New Jersey, and he won.
Well, I'm sure Fleury wants to wear it then. Please.
Well, he'll do just about anything because he's been such a great goaltender on a team that has been buried this year, and surprisingly so. Jágr's shift is at 37 seconds. What's normal shift, John?
Anywhere between probably 40 and 50 seconds.
Now for him?
Well, Jágr, yeah, he's kept his shifts pretty short. Depends on how much power play time you have. His game in his last game was against Edmonton. There was a lot of power play time. He averaged 1 minute, 16 seconds per.
Part of the reason why the New York Rangers are doing this with their lines right now, they're going to have to change that line on the fly to make sure to try to break down the matchup.
The matchup being Pierre.
The matchup being Draper against Jágr, Straka, and Ruchinski with Lidstrom and Lilly on the ice.
Chris Draper played with Kirk Maltby and Darren McCarty here for 8 years. McCarty, of course, is in Calgary now. Johan Franzen, who is playing today, despite having been sidelined briefly by the flu, comprise that line now this season. Icing called against the Rangers. You consider the decade that Detroit has had, 3 straight. Well, let's just check in with Pierre here.
Hey, you know, fellas, right now, a new rule in the National Hockey League, when you ice the puck, you can't change your players. Now, Mike Babcock takes advantage of that. The fourth line of the New York Rangers is on the ice against Robert Lang, Michael Samuelsson, and that's going to be a problem potentially for the Rangers because of fatigue. So watch for that as you go along, John.
And the Rangers just had their centerman thrown out of the circle. Hallwig's not a centerman. He's not used to taking draws. This should be advantage Detroit. Rangers' best centerman for draws is Betts. He's out with a knee injury. How about that? Hallwig won. That is a very important face-off for him if the Rangers move the puck out of the zone.
Oh,
in fact, Lang took a penalty.
Lang.
Yeah. Hallwig won the draw. He's a winger. Big advantage Rangers. Puck moves around the boards, and there was a hit from behind by Lang, planting the Rangers player Ortmeyer right into the glass and boards. Ortmeyer played at Michigan, so he draws the first power play of the game. So that ended up being an advantage Rangers, as you heard, a boarding call.
Dean Warren, the referee who made that call, working with the veteran Kerry Fraser today. Johnny Murray and Darren Gibbs are the linesmen, and so the member of the Czech Olympic team in 1992.
That wasn't a hard hit from behind, but Ortmeyer was about 4 feet away from the boards. And then when he flew that distance into the boards and glass, the official made the call. First power play of the Rangers, and the power play for the Rangers has really struggled.
Fellas, Rangers better be careful because they're playing Ruchinski a forward on the back end. Draper and Maltby very aggressive, as you see right there. That's going to be a problem. They're going to try to attack offensively, especially with the speed of Draper and Maltby.
Our scoring clock is down right now, but we will give you the power play time that remains as Peter Pruka gains the zone and pushes one wide. Whacked around by Chris Chelios, and that just careens back out. Ranger power play is 2 for the last 27. Detroit has done a pretty good job at killing them off. They are ranked 8th in the league. Here is Jágr crossing, shooting one that went off a leg and trickled in on Legacy. Settled down now for Fedor Tutin. Hands it right back across, and it's worked on further as the Rangers try to get something going on this power play. Dealt back around behind for a backhand attempt that was shut aside from Jágr's stick by Legacy. To the outside now, it's Tutin. Turns it along for Jágr again. Checked off, though, by Nick Lidstrom. Back to Tutin once more. Gives it back across again and gets it back once more as Ruchinski was trying to set something up. Tutin pitches one as we're down to the last 3/4 of a minute to go on the penalty kill for Detroit. Straka's centering pass fails. It's rattled back around by Chelios.
Good penalty kill by Detroit. One stuff attempt. by the Rangers. The Rangers' first unit has Jágr on it. A lot of times he'll stay on the ice for the full 2 minutes, and it looks like he is during this power play. He stands at the other team's blue line to preserve energy. Now he moves as the puck's thrown in.
He has 67 points, leads the league, and 27 of those points are on the power play as the Red Wings clear it back down. We're down to the last 15 seconds of the power play for New York. Marek Malik back along to Ward, and it's flown back. What is the major absence that we will have with no Kasparaitis in this game?
Sandpaper. He likes to play an aggressive game and be in the other team's face all the time. He's an aggressive player. He's also a player that doesn't take as many penalties as he used to, Mike. He plays a very smart game. They're going to miss him in this game. He's a leader on the ice. He has a lot of energy for his hockey club.
Lang's penalty is over. Andreas Lilia. Then Shanahan. Detroit quickly gets the big line out there. Motoring ahead now is Datsyuk. Right back it's turned to Ward. The wow was
just Datsuk's ability to look around. He did get stripped of the puck.
Here is Zetterberg, and the pass did not go to him. Oh, he would have been alone. Now Zetterberg gives one back. Lidstrom readies and fires. Oh, it ricocheted and rattled around. They say it wasn't in. It glanced off a goaltender, a post, and didn't go.
Underneath and behind, and the key for Lundqvist is not to panic. He just went right onto his back, sat on the puck. It was about 3 inches from the goal line. How about the shot by Lidstrom? He's a defenseman. Look at him turn and fire. There's the puck. It's not in.
First period action at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. The Rangers and the Red Wings are scoreless. Almost not, though, just a moment ago on Lidstrom's shot.
How about this alignment? Over on the right side is a defenseman. That's Maltby back high at the top of the circle. That's a set play for the faceoff by Detroit. Doesn't work, but it gives them a chance.
Johan Franzen trying to step by, but failing that time with Draper. Maltby comes in with the obligatory crunch. And it's picked up again by Draper and just booted back. Rangers' big unit is out there with Straka, as well as Ruchinski, and of course Jaromir Jágr.
Shows that 5-man unit for Detroit to check this line. What they're thinking is, if the 5-man unit for the Rangers, or at least the big line with Jágr on it, does not score, they have a great chance at winning.
Well, it's an easy thing to do, John, when you have the TV timeout and you got last change on home ice like Mike Babcock has. So every time after a TV timeout, you get to change your line to see what Tom Henry's doing.
What a healthy hit by Jason Williams of Detroit. Meanwhile, it's flipped into Lang. Pierre, you were saying earlier that Babcock was down talking to specific players about something.
Well, he wanted the the Red Wings to be a little bit more physical with some of the Ranger better players. Like we saw Samuelson right there getting physical with Jaromir Jágr.
But he took a penalty on it.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, that's a penalty for Detroit in the offensive zone by Lang, and then at center ice by Samuelson as he knocked down Jágr. I mean, there's a fine line that way, too. He moves in, Jágr stops and turns, and he grabbed him. See the right arm? That's the problem. When the right arm comes loose with your stick, you're going to get called. This is a good hit here in the offensive zone. Williams on Tootin. Good, solid body check, shoulder on shoulder. Great hit by Williams. And by the way, Williams on the back check was the first guy back. That's how well he skates. Samuelson in the box. The Rangers have their second power play.
2 shots on the first one. One a wraparound attempt, the other just a standard shot from out in front. But they have Peter Sikora out there on the right side with a left-hand shot. Straka is out there as well.
7 shorthanded goals for Detroit on the season. 5 of them here on home ice.
Tom Cody as well as Marek Malik a part of the power play. Chris Chelios got some help on that one from Lidstrom. It's not out. Malik a shot and a good pad stop made by Legacy. Puck left behind, but then eventually cleared.
It's almost like you need to see the replay because you don't see Lidstrom do that very often. He turned the puck over in his own zone. That's almost like a mirage.
Chelios and Lidstrom, the penalty-killing defenseman for Detroit. It's turned over to Dan Cleary, who marches in. Cleary with a backhander, fought off by Lundqvist, and it kicked around to be played on back further by Nylander.
That's a terrible turnover by Marek Malik in the neutral zone, but there is a speed factor of the Detroit Red Wings penalty kills. Very aggressive.
And Pierre, the last game the Rangers played was against Edmonton. Edmonton has speedy penalty killers. Edmonton scored 2 shorthanded goals in the game.
Ruchinski plays some catch with Tootin. Jágr near side takes it. Pretty deliberate. 55 left on the kill. Shot rattled off of Chelios and went wide. Chris Chelios, a marvel. Back again, 22nd season. He'll be 44 in 10 days.
Active bench again. You see how quickly Draper and Maltby are on the ice to go against Yager. That's the matchup all game long, and they're working the bench real hard.
Now it's Sikora feeding one in front, and Straka's second effort could not get it by Chelios and near the goal. Legacy had to pat that one away, and then it's ripped back down with 23 on the kill. They have Zetterberg out in the penalty killing role now, and Dan Cleary. Jason Ward's shot stopped by Legacy. Rebound came back over for Cleary. Hustles but can't get it out. Ward feeds, Moore shoots. Legacy stops and covers.
Just 4 seconds to go, so the Rangers would have to be aware of Samuelsson coming out of the penalty box for perhaps a breakaway pass. Rangers did get a few shots here. Nothing that you'd consider a real good shot from right in front of the net. Legacy hangs on to the last shot. Most of them were long shots or outside shots and no rebound shots.
We figure it differently. We figure the amount of time it takes to score a power play goal rather than opportunities. This year in particular, power play opportunities can be very short, a second even, or 15. And so the raw number of opportunities doesn't really show how effective a power play is. So it's a goal for every 10 minutes and change.
I think that's the way it should be. Per time, right? Goal scored per time on the power play. It's a lot more defined then, as opposed to saying you were 1 for 3, but those two of the power plays only lasted 10 seconds. That's not right.
Lepta lays this one across, and Zetterberg able to stride right by. Zetterberg twisting, trying to get by Strudwick. Gets punched out in front, but then taken back by the Rangers. Taking it back out is Ruchin, just stripped of the puck by Shanahan.
The new NHL, Brendan Shanahan prepared for it. There's the quickness of Brendan Shanahan. 220 pounds, but 8% body fat. Much quicker because of his off-ice training.
My goodness, Pierre was near the calipers again. Back ahead with this comes Pruka. Moving in, drops it back for a shot, and it's in the glove of Legacy. What a stop.
Turnover in the neutral zone. And the Rangers with some nice pass work. Great shot by Sikora, but Legacy, fantastic. Look at Pruka's pass. Watch the shot and the juggle. Oh, baby, what a save.
Shoot off the rush, boys. Shoot off the rush, boys.
Get it to the net, guys.
He'll give you some stuff back here, man. He'll give you some rebounds.
It's Tom Rennie talking to his players about don't get into the zone and make all kinds of fancy passes. Shoot the puck off the rush, and he's talking about Legacy. They feel that he'll give rebounds. So far in this game, he has not given rebounds.
A shot is deflected up into the glass, and so the Red Wings can bring it back. Samuelson's pass right on the money, moving in, faking and feeding across the line, backhander. Oh, a remarkable play by Lundqvist in the cage on the backhand attempt of Lang.
Beautiful pass work by Detroit. Beautiful.
What a quick connection there as Lang is able to outlet once more. Pierre had talked about that transition game and how quickly the Red Wings can accelerate with their speed. Did we ever see it?
Mike, I think that was Schneider made that diagonal pass to set up the rush. It was a beautiful play, and Lundqvist comes up with another save. He's had timely saves all season for the Rangers.
Michael Samuelsson, slick distributor of the puck. Not does he only have 16 goals, but he can move it, John and Mike.
Whipped into the defense, Lilia knocked it down. Peter Sikora is out there with Straka right now, but Sikora will come off and Yager will be on, and they'll have the unit back together.
That's an icing now against Detroit. Let's take a look at the breakout pass. This is the long diagonal pass to Samuelsson, or to Williams. He fakes it, moves it, and Lang on the backhand off the shoulder. You know what? And Pierre was right. It wasn't Matthew Schneider. It was Samuelsson who moved it to Williams. Now the goalie has to freeze on the shooter, but a remarkable save because you freeze on the shooter. The shooter passed the puck. Lundqvist had to move across, and the puck grazed his shoulder and went wide. That's just great pass work, great shot, great save.
First time we haven't seen Draper on the ice because of the icing situation. That's the problem right now. Detroit's trying to get a change. Got to get the puck out to get the matchup going.
Oh, good point. Rangers want to take advantage there, cannot, and it is shoveled back out.
And now the puck out of the zone, a quick change.
Rangers bring it back. Jaromir Jagr plays it along away from Matthew Schneider. Poked behind by Lilia. Red Wings trying to shift back, but the Ranger forecheck moves in and nearly paid off as Yager was almost able to intercept.
Penalty upcoming to the Rangers, and they're going to see the #1 ranked power play in the league. Oh boy, here we go. This Detroit power play is special. They move the puck as Kerry Fraser makes the call. Looks like Yager. He's drawn a power play, and now he takes a penalty.
New York Ranger penalty number 68. 2 minutes, interference, end zone, behind the guy's foot.
All right.
Thanks, Kerry.
Very descriptive.
How about that? I like that. Behind the net. He uses his foot here. His left foot catches Lilia as Yager went through, and that's a good call. Interference. And very easy to find.
Big shot by Williams. Getting a piece of it was Lundqvist.
Nick Lidstrom's a key to this power play, but you just saw Williams blasted on goal. He's a forward playing on the back end. Lidstrom will walk the line, try to get it to Williams, and he'll tee it up to try to force rebounds and beat Lidstrom or Lundstrom with a quick shot.
Thomas Holmstrom eventually will be at the front of the net. There are few better in the league in taking the kind of punishment necessary. He's 96 in red, and also having the reactions to pick up rebounds and score. But it is Zetterberg and Datsuk up front with him.
Williams can quarterback the puck, too, for a forward playing defense. He's good at it.
Zetterberg neatly denied by Strudwick. Billy Niemanen played it on back, and it's lobbed out by Poti.
The Rangers have had a great season killing penalties. They've been ranked #2 for most of the season. The last few games, though, they've slipped. They're now #6. And this is with good goaltending.
1 goal for 6:36 of power play time. Much better, of course. They're ranked conventionally as #1 in the league. The captain, Steve Yzerman, is out on the power play now. Just noticed that he had come from the bench, but maybe in a quick change. The Rangers are going to bring out somebody to counter him. 40 years of age, 21 complete seasons with Detroit. He just passed Gordie Howe for 7th all-time in assists in league history Thursday night. Offside called against Detroit.
A couple of long shots. That's it so far for Detroit's power play.
This was Thursday against Philadelphia. Sami Kapanen just barreled into him, and then right back he comes and sets up another important goal for Detroit en route to a 6-3 victory. Robert Lang scored it. Gordie Howe was here, and after the game he went down into the locker room and posed with Steve, the picture holding the puck. Now here's Woolley shooting, and that deflected away. 27 left on the power play. Woolley hands back on to Lang. Woolley blasts again, and that one went wide. Once more Lang. Shanahan at the front of the net now peels off. It came right back to Brendan, but in a lot of traffic. Back to the point it comes for a drive by Matthew Schneider that is turned aside by Lundqvist. Once more it's Lang back to Schneider. Whips it across on a weak pass. And so it's turned back ahead. Yager, fresh from the box after the penalty kill, tries to muscle it on further. Yager feeds, turning is Straka. That one paddled away by Legacy. Straka again to the outside. Watched there by the defense. It's given across to Michael Roosevelt. Shooting, and that one deflected wide. Rebound, hurtling to the ice was Legacy. Meanwhile, they can't clear. It's Woolley dumping it behind, and Billy Niemanen over to play. Along to Yager again. Sized up by Woolley. Yager looking. What'll he do? Quickly on him is Draper. Nudged it back to the point, but it struck the referee in this gate.
Long shift right now from Matthew Schneider, Jason Woolley against the fresh legs of Jaromir Jagr, and you can see how the Rangers take advantage of it.
Maltby played it back in. He's jousting with Niemanen, neither of those known for giving up much.
And both are known for starting exactly that, Mike.
That's right.
Two irritating hockey players a lot of the time, and that's when they're at their best.
Big shot is turned aside by Lundqvist from Matthew Schneider. Kicked back over near him, but on with it now is Peter Sikora. Leads the rush back out, getting the pass across to big Jason Strudwick up from the defense. Tapped around by Lilia and grabbed by Shanahan. And again, the forecheck pays off as Kruka knocked it loose.
The Rangers have created a lot of turnovers on the first pass by Detroit in this game so far. Here's a 2-on-1.
Datsuk with Shanahan. Couldn't get it there. Sliding play made by Tom Poti.
Were they fast? Were they going? Sikora couldn't keep up on the back check. 2-on-1, but a brilliant block of the pass by Poti.
Yeah, Sikora was exposed. So was Strudwick. Remember, the Rangers are basically playing 5 defensemen. Strudwick already looked tired on that last sequence, John.
Yeah, he'd been involved on the rush once too. So I think for the Rangers defense, if you're down to 5 playing a lot, you've got to be careful how much energy you spend trying to become a part of the rush, going on offense. Save it for defense.
Puck into the seats. 3:19 to go. Interesting first period, still scoreless.
We've been talking about the explosive nature of the Detroit Red Wings off the rush. Pavel Datsyuk with a burst of speed blowing by Sikora, and Strudwick tries to go over to Shanahan, and there's a leaping play by the Rangers, just denying the opportunity for the Red Wings.
It was Tom Poti, Pierre, with the stick. He took away the pass and then blocked the second attempt at the pass. And Datsyuk, who has those great hands on most plays, he would elevate and saucer the puck over the stick on the ice and make a perfect pass to Shanahan.
Mike Babcock, the Red Wings coach, said, these are not the old Rangers. That changed. You could outwork the old Rangers. You can't these. This is our venue. This is our place. We have to up the ante for them.
Here's a 4-on-2.
Lebda brings ahead. Oh, and a shot by Samuelsson right into the catching glove of Lundqvist. Coming up on our Dodge Intermission Report, Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, and special guest Mark Messier will bring you highlights and analysis from today's NHL action. That's coming up on our Dodge Intermission Report. What a night for Mark Messier.
How about this one,
on Thursday?
Mike? The other night they retired Mark's sweater to the top of Madison Square Garden as you look at the 4-on-2 shot. And it was just a brilliant night at Madison Square Garden. They won the Cup in 1994. That was 54 years after they had last won a Cup, led by Messier. The score was 5-4. Jágr had the overtime game winner. The 5-4, 54 years. That, you know what I mean? Those numbers are kind of fighting together there.
Pretty interesting. I think Ruchin got the number on the player who corked him just a moment ago. It was Matthew Schneider.
Detroit's transition now is starting to come alive. Defense to offense. Yep, first pass, and here they go.
Zetterberg and Shanahan, the trailer Datsyuk. Zetterberg a shot, and it's held by Lundqvist. 2:06 to go. First period, still scoreless.
Joe, you're glad we got the Durango, right?
Of course.
And you liked all the money we saved when we bought it, right?
Got us a bigger boat.
Oh, and how about the Hemi engine and the DVD player and the hands-free cell? Then why won't you use the navigation system?
I'm not lost.
Dodge Durango.
This is starting to look familiar.
It's a lot of great stuff for a great price.
For the first time ever, get $1,000 overstock bonus cash and grab a Dodge Durango for under $25,000.
Resulting face-off taken eventually by Detroit and moved back by Lilia to Nick Lidstrom. Nick Lidstrom played almost 35 minutes of a 60-minute game earlier this season against Phoenix. And here he shoots one that is high to the glass, ricocheted across where Draper tried to play. And this is not a younger player now, Nick Lidstrom. He's not an old guy, but he's 35.
But you ever see him waste energy?
No.
3 Norris trophies for the MVP amongst defensemen in the league. 3 times a runner-up.
Jágr sends one across, and it ricocheted loose off of Ruchinski. Tries to send.
There's Jágr being creative.
Out in front, and Jágr bashes it home on a pass from Ruchinski, and it is 1-0 in favor of the Rangers. That work ethic made a huge difference on this team in the last shift.
Well, the Detroit Red Wings did not have Draper on the ice. Oh, yes, he is. He's right there in the front. There's Lidstrom taking care of the front. Now he reads. And look at the pass by Ruchinski. And it's kind of a change-up shot, I think, Mike, more than anything else. Watch Jágr's release. It's not real quick. He kind of half shoots it, and it slides underneath and through Legacy. 1-0 Rangers. The work habits along the board, Straka, Ruchinski, all the players there, they did a great job, and Jágr has the Rangers with only 1:15 to go in the period, up 1-0.
Goal number 29 of the year, point number 68. And a very significant time of the period to get one late. The Rangers' goal differential, if you love numbers, in the first 5 minutes of any period is a decided minus. The rest of the way, a decided plus. And so they tend to start slow, finish strong. It was kind of reflective of this game, except they did get power plays earlier. Yager and Ruchinski getting the assist at 18:45. Scoring in the goal, and it's helped back across. The Red Wings could sure use one here, but Jed Ortmeyer, the Michigan product, will have something to say about that. 41 darting around out there. Ryan Hallwig, 44. They tend to put the H in hockey, meaning hits.
And Ortmeyer went to Michigan, played for Red Berenson there, was a real leader for that college club. And he, when he went to college, was able to come here to Detroit and watch the Red Wings play quite a few times, he said. He just absolutely loved the fact that he could get to Detroit and watch. Red player for Detroit was able to do that when he was in Chicago. He used to go to the Chicago Stadium and watch. And you know, when he watched, it was Yager playing against Chelios in a finals in 1992. If you can imagine, at the old Chicago Stadium. Pittsburgh won that series as Yager and his club with Mario and everybody playing well. But Red playing here for Detroit now. He's got to be sitting there watching this game from the bench saying, there's Yager, there's Chelios. When I was a youngster, I used to go watch them play in the Stanley Cup final.
Probably second balcony when it was 650 in Chicago.
Still be a great seat there, though.
Oh, it would. Here is Malik rattling it back in. Late first period. 1 goal by Yager. Maltby able to play it back along now for Chelios. Back out to center. Boy, good start for the Rangers. They have to like this after.
Detroit had some odd man rushes. Either Lundqvist would make the save or Detroit couldn't quite finish the play. So I thought that was a difference. I think the Rangers played a pretty good road game coming in here with 5 defensemen and getting a 1-0 lead. That, folks, is a good young goaltender. In fact, he's going to be a great goaltender. He's only 23 years of age. Yager gets the goal, his 29th of the season.
9 shots fired by Detroit on Lundqvist. He got them all. 11 taken by the New York Rangers. And let's check in downstairs with Pierre Maguire.
Jason, you're down to 5 defensemen. John Davidson just alluded to it. How much strain is that on you?
Well, you know, it's never easy when you lose a guy in warm-up like that. It doesn't happen very often. So, you know, we're a pretty well-conditioned team, and I know we're taking short shifts, making a simple play against a very good team. So we got to keep it up for the next 40.
Will that take the defense out of the offense? Will Tom Brady tell you guys to hang back a little bit?
I think we always want to chip in, you know, as a group. We have some pretty skilled D-men back there, but, you know, the forwards have to keep working it low. We're a team that we're playing best when we work them down low in the cycle, and I think that's what we want to do every night.
Lundqvist makes it so easy for you in terms of his rebound control, doesn't he?
He's a really nice goalie. We're blessed to have 2 good goalies here, and they both played well for us all year, and Lundqvist made some big saves for us early there.
Thank you very much, Jason. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. Anytime.
Pierre, thank you very much, with Jason Strudwick downstairs. Well, it was a good road game for a team that normally plays with a lot of offense, the Rangers.
Yeah, I think it's a game where you see Detroit with some good forechecking, a couple of good hits, but the Rangers didn't seem to fold. And when they made a mistake, that guy, Lundqvist, was right there. Yager was able to get free from Lidstrom against the checking unit and able to score. I think we'll still see that matchup. Yager's unit, Lidstrom, and Draper's unit. That'll be a matchup for the next 2 periods, I'm sure.
The Rangers come in only 5 points away from the top spot in the entire Eastern Conference. Detroit is the leader in the West. As you see this marvelous pass by Ruchinski once again.
Again, it was a change-up shot. I think that fooled Legacy a little bit, the Detroit goaltender. He was kind of still up, not down. The puck slid underneath him. Ruchinski, that misdirection pass, a good one.
All right. Stay tuned for the Dodge Intermission Report at the rink at 30 Rock. First, these messages. You're watching the NHL on NBC. Let's take a look at our first period statistics brought to you by Earthlink. Look pretty even. 1-0 score at the top. Hits 11-3 Detroit. Rangers leading this contest by 1 on Yager's goal. We'll be back with the start of the second period from the Joe after this. Second period at Joe Louis Arena about to begin. No carryover penalties nor power plays. So what do you think Mike Babcock had to say between periods to his Red Wings?
9 shots, not enough, without question, for them. The other thing is, I want to mention, I said Draper was on the ice for the Yager goal. He was not on the ice for the Yager goal.
Here is Kirk Maltby crossing, and a backhander nearly found its way home. Draper is out there right now and takes that pass from Johan Franzen to try to get the cycle going. We have Jaromir Yager out, so you'll be given a time on his shift as that shot went wide from Ruchinski. Ruchinski out there with Jaromir Yager. Meanwhile, it's turned back over, and the Rangers can attack once more. Tom Poti out of Boston University, and that one deflected away by Legacy. Ruchinski wanted to settle it down. Eventually turning his Yager, held at the point, and they hope to get something going there, but that just fails as crunching near the boards was Chris Draper.
Yager's throwing two shoulders here, one into Maltby, then one into Draper, both in Detroit zone. The red jerseys are all over Yager, tight to him. He's throwing his shoulder into them to try to find some space and room.
Well, you want to get a good shift going at the start of the second when you've had some problems in the first, and the start for the Red Wings has not really been good.
Well, they did have that backhand shot by Draper, and he missed the net on the play. And I guess for Draper's line, the key is don't let Yager's line get offense. And now it's up to his teammates to try to find offense.
Shanahan with one that was spiked by Sikora in front, knifed away from Strudwick, but he recovers. The waiting is Brendan Shanahan. Fed one in front, and it's deflected wide of the cage by Zetterberg. And the net is dislodged. There'll be a penalty coming up. It'll be against the Rangers.
They're saying the Rangers, and that's Strudwick, the big defenseman, who during the lockout played a few games in Budapest. He knocked the net off.
Number 34, delay a game.
They call it delay a game for knocking the net off the mooring. It was on the far side as the puck was on the near side. Here we go, Shanahan. Beautiful pass for the deflection, but it went wide. Now that's Strudwick right in front. He's going to back to the left post. See him back into the left post. He stops and he clips the net, and it goes off the mooring. Does not stay on the mooring. Power play Detroit.
Only the second one of the game for the #1 ranked power play in the league. Roosevelt sailed it around, and it is Ortmeyer to bring it ahead for the shorthanded Rangers.
One game Detroit may have to rely on their power plays. They're not getting a lot at even strength here. Their power play is lethal.
Eric Malik, as well as Dominic Moore, are the other players for the Rangers in this penalty kill. Williams got it onto Datsuk, then to Zetterberg, closed off by the defensive tandem of Malik and Roosevelt. Moore tried to flip it ahead. Former captain at Harvard gave it up for the pass around by Ortmeyer that has settled down now and walked on by Nick Lidstrom. Lidstrom got it back across, but off the stick of Zetterberg. Pokes behind now for Datsuk. With Holmstrom jousting his way at the front of the net. Sparring there with big Marek Malik. Datsuk to the outside, and his pass is blocked. And so that crispness that Red Wings fans are used to on the power play isn't happening so
far. Well, full credit to the Rangers. Malik was strong on the puck. The Rangers are getting and taking away the shooting lanes. Quick sticks blocking passes. Yzerman now a chance on the power play.
With Lang and Shanahan still out there, and it's clear.
Yzerman only 4 shifts in the first period.
Well, what a good job by the Rangers, John. You were just talking about it with Mike taking away time and space from Holmstrom. That keeps everything in the outside. Whenever Holmstrom does a good job down low, that opens up a lot for the Detroit Red Wings on the power play.
Pass misfires, and so it is Ward lifting one along, and again they have to chase with only half a minute to go. Quiet house here.
That's how the visitors like it, don't they? When you go into the other team's house and keep everybody quiet, that means you're doing their job as the Red Wings are offside here. Steve Yzerman tried to hold the line, and Lang was stick handling along the line instead of gaining the blue line. That creates a problem. 17 seconds to go now on the power play.
And it's a tough situation for Steve Yzerman, John and Mike, because he doesn't get a lot of minutes. He's coming off the bench a little bit, or off the ice a little bit frustrated to the bench on that offside. That's something Steve Yzerman doesn't usually do, but he goes offside probably because he's a little bit cold in that situation.
He has more. Well, you know what, Pierre, I think he tried to hold the line, so Lang's got to move the puck over the line, though, doesn't he?
He certainly does, but the way the Rangers are congesting the neutral zone, it's a tough play because they don't want to turn it over there.
To the last 5 of the man advantage, it's Cleary behind. Feeds the point for Matthew Schneider. On across now to Woolley. Wheels it over for a shot into the catching glove of Lundqvist.
As Strudwick comes out of the penalty box, so Detroit 0 for 2. Great story on Michael Samuelsson as we take a look at the angle shot here. Lundqvist has good hands, very few rebounds. It's an angle shot by Samuelsson. You can see Lundqvist hangs on to it, stares the puck into his glove. Samuelsson played in the World Championships for Sweden last spring. Ken Holland, who's a very good general manager here in Detroit, saw him play, and then during training camp he needed some depth, so he went and asked all the Swedish players during training camp that Detroit had and what they thought about Samuelsson. Zetterberg even said, if you bring him to our team, I want him on my line. That's how much I think of him. So they went and signed him for not a great big contract, a decent amount of dollars. It didn't hurt them. And he has really been good. And Samuelsson himself said playing last winter in Sweden during the NHL lockout, he played in all the offensive situations, and that gave him a ton of confidence regarding offense, and he has 16 goals and 29 points. Remarkable.
Hey, fellas, a little line juggling right now by Tom Rennie. Michael Nylander's playing center with Straka and Yager. Ruchinski started the game on left wing with Straka at center, but because of that icing situation, now the Rangers, with their fresh offensive players, go up against a tired group with Franzen, Maltby, and Draper.
What do you think they're gunning for with that change, Pierre?
Well, because Michael Nylander is such a creative playmaker, probably he can hold the puck a little bit longer, and he can break Yager and Straka free with their speed and skill.
You know what else it does? It gives offense to another line. When you put Ruchinski along with Sikora on another line, if the Rangers' big line is being checked so good by Lidstrom and by Draper, they're hoping they can find some offense with another unit. That's what Sikora's done for the Rangers. It's added offense.
Big shot by Maltby, rattled around. Oh, and the rebound went just wide of Lundqvist in the cage. Putin takes care of his man. Meanwhile, it's up the boards and lobbed around behind for Maltby to turn.
This is the way the Red Wings have to play. In your face, grinding it out on the forecheck, and dominating the opposition defense. And that's exactly what they get from that group.
Log on to NBCSports.com for much more on the National Hockey League. Plus, check out Bill Clement's look at why the Red Wings could emerge as Western Conference champions. It's all at NBCSports.com.
Oh, this Detroit team is so good down the middle. Their center ice position, Lang, Datsuk, Zetterberg if he needs to. They've got Yzerman. They are really good down the middle. This is a team that is on a roll. How about what they do against Philadelphia here, huh? 13-0-2 since 1988 on home ice against Philadelphia. Their last win was here against Philadelphia.
Ken Hitchcock, who is Philadelphia's coach, playing against Colorado this afternoon. What a smear that was done then by Chelios. Meanwhile, it's Zetterberg across, and it ricocheted out to center.
Chelios with a big high hit on Pruka, but Pruka's a junkyard dog. He's 172 pounds. He'll just jump up and play.
Well, Lundqvist had just left the goal crease and was fortunate that shot by Datsuk went sailing by the net.
Well, you know, the big thing right now, John, you just talked about a Pruka being a junkyard dog. That's what the Red Wings want, a little bit of junkyard dog in their game. We saw it the initial shift with Draper, with Franzen, with Maltby. And now you've got, look at this, Chelios just going hard after Pruka. And you know what? Chris Chelios is an equal opportunity hitter. Whether you're Jaromir Jagr or Peter Pruka, it doesn't matter. He's going to whap you, and he's going to whap you hard.
And that's Detroit trying to find their game here in the second period. They haven't developed much. They're trying to grind. They're trying to bang. They're trying to get at people. See Malik having a couple of words with Chelios now about the hit on Pruka, but it was a good hard hit. The referee standing right there looking at it. They're still having some words. I like that stuff. You know, if you take Chelios and Schneider's defensive pair, they combined for 79 years of age.
Let's not talk about age.
That's experience, Mike. That's experience.
That's the difference.
And good experience.
If the age players play well, it's experience. Otherwise, they're just old.
And both are going to play for the U.S. club in the Olympics.
Chris Chelios will be 44 by month's end. Gordie Howe, an ex-Red Wing, played into his 50s. We asked Chris if he was going to.
Maybe not the NHL, but I got the Motor City Mechanics right down the road, and plenty of other options. But I don't know. I mean, who knows? 3 years ago, I had problems with my knees. You know, pain every day. Somewhat what Steve Yzerman was going through, and all of a sudden, whatever wore down or I grinded down. Now it's like I never felt the thing, and I feel like I did 10 years ago.
Fraser, Michigan is where the United Hockey League franchise, the Motor City Mechanics, are located, so it would not mean moving if that's what he decides to do later.
Is he part owner? That was a plug, wasn't it?
I think so.
He just threw another big hit. It was on Dominic Morris.
Yeah, he added a big hit, but it was an elbow. He got away with one.
Here is Steve Yzerman wiping out, but trying to play it further. There'll be a penalty coming up.
Against the Rangers, a hooking call. Chelios here moves up. A little bit of a shove. Maybe the left elbow was up there like Pierre saw. Chelios is trying to spark his team here, is what he's trying to do.
New York Ranger penalty number 41, 2 minutes hooking.
So the fourth line got on the ice for Detroit, and they draw a power play. I think it was a neutral zone hook against Tom Rennie's team.
The Red Wing bench is electric right now. They're challenging one another to start doing better things in terms of getting pucks on goal and establishing more of a forecheck. Very animated down here on the bench.
It is Schneider handing across to Woolley. Work back in deep. Samuelsson holds there. Some jostling at the front. Shanahan knocks a man down. It was Strudwick hoping to get a pass at that time. Didn't happen. Lidstrom, a shot deflected to the glass by Strudwick, and it sailed back off the glass where the Red Wings will have to retreat, but since it went up into the stands, they'll get the offensive zone faceoff.
Rangers make a quick change here. 22 seconds into the power play, Pierre.
And the reason why they're making that quick change, Dominic Moore didn't get into the shooting lane against Nick Lidstrom right there, and they're making that correction on the bench right now. That's something to pay attention to because Lidstrom either moves to his right or moves to his left. He's very tough to shadow. He gets lots of point shots through, John.
I think he's the best in the league at taking the puck and walking along the blue line to find the shooting lane, just like Schneider is right there. Only he had his taken away by Ruchin.
Ruchin a part of this Ranger penalty kill that has only killed off 30 so far. Rising shot by Samuelsson, pops on back to be kept by Lidstrom. Sped right back to Samuelsson again with Shanahan at the front, but he's peeled off to take the pass. Then Robert Lang. Roosevelt watching him. Lang gives it on back. Samuelsson feeds one in front that is just turned right back out by Ruchinski. And another shift change for the Rangers shorthanded unit. Halfway through the kill.
They're trying to. They couldn't pull it off though, Mike. Same players on the ice. And Detroit has changed a couple of players. Ooh, there's a Lidstrom turnover. Rangers still can't change.
That's just a terrible shoot in by Pavel Datsyuk. Malik handles it so easy. You got to shoot the puck in with a purpose. No purpose right there by Datsyuk. That's why the Rangers are able to get the puck up and out of the zone.
They can get it to center ice though. Here they can't get. Now Ruchinski's able to change. Ruchin's still on.
Datsyuk to Zetterberg across. Oh, and unable to get a good shot away with Holmstrom that time, and he was blasted into the glass by Roosevelt. Zetterberg with a shot that deflected away. Datsyuk has it there. Gives it to the back. Schneider with it. Cranks a shot, and it went rocketing wide. And then it's controlled by the Rangers, and just that quickly gotten back again, but not legally.
Well, what happened was Niemann turned around and swung at the puck, and he hit the stick of Zetterberg, knocked the stick right out of his arms, and with 14 seconds to go to the Ortmeyer penalty, it's a 5-on-3.
New York Ranger penalty number 10, 2 minutes for slashing.
They call it slashing. Niemann turned around, and with this stick, he turns. Oh yeah, went right after the stick. That's a hard play. That's a penalty. Knocked the stick right out of the hands. And so the Rangers now are looking at Detroit's lethal power play, or normally is a 5-on-3 here for 14 seconds.
This is the 33rd time this year, and we are just around the halfway point of the season. The Rangers have been shorthanded by 2 men. They've given up goals about a third of the time.
Well, it's dangerous when you play teams like this. We have a slight delay here. The Wings, Detroit has at least one power play goal in their last 7 games and 14 of their last 16. That's what we mean by lethal. Seal wins the draw.
Oh, it was more prevailing, but they don't clear out. Back it comes to Schneider. Walks it along and hands over to Nick Lidstrom. Then to the outside it comes to Lang. Back to Lidstrom. Drive! Save made by Lundqvist. First penalty's over. It's a 5-on-4. Lidstrom a shot, and that kicked aside. Another shot. They score! Lang! Tie game.
Mike, it's a 5-on-4 power play goal, but it was like a 5-on-3 because the player coming out of the box never got into the play. And what a great shot by Lang to hit the top corner. Lundqvist had made a couple of great saves. Rocket shots through traffic. That went off the shoulder, and you can see Lang knew he had to go high. Lundqvist had his right leg across. If that shot's low, he stops it. Look at Lidstrom. He never looked at the puck. He just looked at the area where he could get the shot. There's the shot. Lang has to go high. Great shot by him. We're tied up at 1. Look at the right leg's there, but the top corner's open. Great shot by Lang.
Dominic Moore just left the ice. He was one of the penalty killers. That initial draw was won by Dominic Moore, and the Red Wings did a great job. They knew if they lost the draw what they had to do. The Rangers weren't able to clear the zone in a 5-on-3 situation. Moore was very upset coming off the ice. When you win a draw and you're a center iceman, you've done your job, fellas. Unfortunately for the Rangers, the Red Wings were better prepared to keep that puck in. That kept the play alive, and that led to the Lang goal. But an excellent job by the Red Wings identifying a lost faceoff, pressuring the Rangers, forcing a turnover, keeping the puck in the zone.
Now there's a big discussion going on. Let's take a look. Moore won the draw. Strudwick was the defenseman. When he went back in here, that's Strudwick. Watch as Moore wins the draw. The puck goes right to him. 2 Red Wings converged on him, and he fanned on the puck. And that's when the puck was taken over by Detroit and led to the power play goal.
And that's precisely why Dominic Moore was so upset. That was a huge point of that sequence.
Lidstrom gets the only assist on Lang's 11th and his 4th power play goal. Game is even.
I'm not sure what all that discussion was about with the referees.
I'm only guessing that it might have been whether the first penalty had expired, but it clearly had.
Oh yeah, without question. But Maltby was there. I don't know what that was all about.
It was so loud down here, I couldn't hear anything when Kerry Fraser and Dean Warren, the officials, were over here, but clearly Tom Rennie wasn't pleased.
So 8.5 played, second period. Yager late in the first for the Rangers. Lang on the power play in the second. Shanahan sent it just wide. Rebound. Score! Chris Draper. 2 quick goals for Detroit.
Right out of the air, Chris Draper bangs it down. Shanahan got control of a puck in the neutral zone. A counter play. You're going to see a brilliant play defensively. Here's Roosevelt on the puck. He gets checked by Draper, and it goes right to Detroit, and there goes Shanahan, and watch Draper on the far side. Out of midair, baby. He just taps it down. Talk about hands. Shanahan put the puck on goal. There's the rebound, and look at this. Well, maybe Draper didn't get it. Maybe that went off the top of the goal stick. You know that? That may have gone off the top of Lundqvist's goal stick, Pierre.
Hey, fellas, now the matchup's 1-1. Yager scored in the first. Draper scores here in the second. Now it's 1-1. That's an important part of the game. It's a game within the game.
Well, that was a pretty good replay on that second one, John, that you pointed out, because it looked as though it may have gone off the stick of Lundqvist.
I think the puck hit Lundqvist and went up and was headed towards Draper for him to knock it down. I thought he did originally, and then it may have just caught the top of the stick, the handle, off the goaltender and back into the net as Detroit is called on an icing.
2-1, the home team ahead. The NHL on NBC is brought to you by Powerade. By Power Bar Triple Threat. It fuels like a power bar, tastes like a candy bar. By Sprint, official wireless provider of the NHL. And by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
The Detroit go-ahead goal has been added to Brendan Shanahan's resume. It never did get to Draper, so Shanahan gets his 21st.
52 seconds separating the goals by Shanahan and Lang. Feder Tootin dropped that one in, and it's picked off by Yager, stood up by Chelios, and the puck turned back over to Detroit. Now we have strength against strength out there.
Chelios helped turn this game around. He started with the body work. He stood up there on Straka right there as the Rangers are having trouble now getting their flow past center ice.
Little gamesmanship right there by Mike Babcock, making sure that he gets his people on the ice.
So it is Chelios.
But that was interesting. He's got Chelios along with Schneider on the ice against Yager. It wasn't Lidstrom and his pair.
Pretty interesting. They were going strength against strength for a moment with Yager's line out against that of Zetterberg and Datsuk, but you're right, no Shanahan at the time. Lob high and on goal and blocked by Legacy. Then Ward. Then Nylander. Trips and he looks for a pass. Doesn't have it yet to the back. Roosevelt, a shot that is just snuffed right out and started back ahead by Detroit. Kirk Maltby. One-time Edmonton Oiler played it back in.
That's a smart shoot-in by Maltby so they can get an aggressive change for the Red Wings, because if he shoots it to Lundqvist, it's a problem in terms of handling the puck in the second period.
A leaping shrug by Legacy on that play, and then it is Jason Ward. Tight defense by Samuelson that time on Nylander. Rushing over Nick Lidstrom, and it's turned on now for an advance that does not come. Left behind. Nylander a shot. Save Legacy. Rebound, and he's able to cover and hang on.
Turnovers in this game lead the chances. Let's go back and look at the Shanahan go-ahead goal. You're going to see the puck go off the goaltender Lundqvist. It drops in behind his blocker near the handle of his stick. Here comes the stick of Draper. It's behind the net. That went in off the goaltender.
right after the Robert Lang goal, the Ranger coaching staff a little bit upset. It was only because of an issue with the clock. Everything's been straightened out. Talked to Darren Gibbs, the linesman. That's all Tom Rennie wanted to know.
This is chipped back down and will go for an icing. All right, so we've had a total of 31 minutes played in this thing. There has been dominance by both teams, but who do you sense has control now?
Detroit's got the control now. The Rangers, during the first period, had 11 shots. They've had 4 to this point, and 2 of them were on the same flurry during the second period here. I think Chelios with his sandpaper-type play, in other words, he started banging people, got his bench into the game, and that put the flavor back into the Detroit Red Wings side, and they've since scored 2 goals.
Oh, a good force to the front of the net by Dominic Moore, and it wouldn't go, and then we get
Penalty.
a halt to play, a penalty for cross-checking, and probably a good one to take.
Oh, yeah, icing's hurt. Detroit iced the puck. The Rangers won the loose puck after the draw. Moore went to the front of the net, had a couple of chances there, and then just got absolutely flattened by Matthew Schneider. Matthew Schneider's 23 red, right in front of the goaltender. He's going to stay in his position. There's a nice play by Ortmeyer to Moore. Moore to the net. Hard play, good save, and then here comes, whoa, did he get cross-checked?
The problem in that last sequence for Detroit, Datsuk and Brett Ledda did not communicate. So when they were in down low coverage, Ledda gets beat to the net by Moore because of a bad switch call down low, and they're talking to people down on the bench about it right now.
You know, I agree with what you're saying, but sometimes players, I mean, coaches, you know, they want to straighten that out so it doesn't happen again. A lot of times players make good plays, like Moore fed Ortmeyer there, and they were a little bit quicker than the Detroit switch, which led to the scoring chance and then the goal.
So the Rangers set up for this power play in the person of Fedor Tutin. He'll have Ruchinski out there, as well as Straka and Sikora and Jágr. Pivoting away now is Tutin once more. Then Sikora. Now Jágr, but knifed away. Well, this has been a very challenging shorthand situation for Detroit.
They're holding the line, aren't they?
Yeah. Hard to walk in. Tutin gave it across. Jágr with it there. Straka side of the net takes the pass. Has Sikora around in front, but well watched. Centered one, and the defense just peeled away at a fortunate moment. Though a couple of Rangers collide. Straka sealed up pretty well to the wall. Meanwhile, it is Tutin trying to reach in, and Chelios pressing him further and got him back out to center ice.
What a game he's playing. Since the first period, Chelios has been one of the best players on the ice. That last play at the net, Legacy got the pass with his goal stick. It's a sharp play. No credit for a save, because it's not a shot, but it's a great play.
John, you are bang on the mark when you talk about the physicality of Chris Chelios, and he's definitely swung the momentum towards the Red Wings because of that physical play. Here he jumps in again.
Chelios fed one in front that is canceled out by the Rangers defense, and it's fed on to Jágr. Picks up Nylander, and Nylander starts to move. Fed back in front and whacked away by Chelios. Right on it comes to Cleary, and hung up in the skates of Poti.
In Detroit's last game, Chelios had a shorthanded goal. Not supposed to do that at his age. Gotta talk to him, right?
That's his famous phrase. Why do you want to keep saying at my age? He's even talking about what he's going to do after the NHL, and we don't know how long that's going to be. Offside.
5 seconds to go on the minor to Schneider. The Rangers had a nice odd man rush, but the Jágr pass did not click. And I don't think there's been a shot registered. One play at the net. Legacy got hit nicely with his goal stick.
Shanahan's goal came after a string of 9 games without. He had gone 7 games without a point, but he had 4 assists against Philadelphia 2 nights ago. When it was mentioned that he would be tracked for his shift length, he said, oh, great, nice time to pick it when I'm going this long without a goal.
You know what he did the other night? They played in Carolina. Detroit did and lost. Right after the game, he went into the referee's room, knocked on the door, and said, thanks, you guys refereed a heck of a game, the way it's supposed to be refereed. You let the toughness go. You called the hooks and holding. I just want to say great game. And that's a game after Detroit lost. So he's trying to pay attention to that aspect of it. And if the guys in stripes do a great job, he let them know.
You played the game for 10 years, John. Did you ever do that or know of a teammate who did?
No. No, I didn't.
I'll bet Pierre has something.
Hey, Brendan Shanahan's been in the league for 18 years, fellas. 3 Stanley Cups. One of the things that's allowed him to play, look at on the left are his new skates, 6 grams lighter than his old skates on the right. And he also switched sticks. If you look on the right side, 1980s technology, aluminum and wood. On the left, carbon fiber, composite. And he's ripping the puck, and he's skating much better, and he's feeling a lot better. When he came in the league, 18% body fat, 220 pounds. Now, 9% body fat, 220 pounds.
He's hanging around that weight machine a little bit where they register all of those things up there, Pierre. Is he allowed there? He's been allowed down near the benches, so maybe he's all over this place.
Darn right I'm allowed down there. That's my job.
Long toss ahead, brought on by Zetterberg. Fed one in front, and coming right by was Ruchinski to start it the other way for the Rangers. Pass went off Straka, knocked down into Chelios, who recovers and hands over for Nick Lidstrom. On now for the pass back in by Draper, and then another change in lines as the big scoring line comes off now for Detroit because their counterparts for the Rangers are on, and they need to get that Draper-Maltby unit out there with Franson.
Okay, Mike, this last time I'm going to bring up Chelios' age. He's going to play in the Olympics for Team USA.
Yes.
He's going to be 2 years older than their head coach, Peter Laviolette. Last time I'm mentioning his age. During warm-up, prior to this afternoon's game, Darius Kasparaitis ran into a teammate, Dominic Moore, accidental collision, and Kasparaitis unable to play with a bad left knee. He will have it x-rayed. They think it's a sprained MCL ligament, not serious. Still not able to play. Rangers have to go with 5 defensemen in this game because of it, and that's not a helpful situation to anyone.
Here is Ruchin moving in. As the game goes on, it becomes even more counterproductive.
Yeah, I think so. If Detroit plays an up-tempo game the rest of the way, certainly it's more difficult. Whoa, what a pass and play and save.
Lang to Williams to Lundqvist, and he holds.
Oh, great pass by Lang. He stopped, and Williams, who's a great skater, had a hat trick early in the season, just drove to the net. Watch Lang stop, find that passing lane, on net, and a great save. Oh, Ray, I love watching great plays. That, folks, is a great play. The pass is great. The deflected shot on that puck that was midair was great. And Lundqvist was in perfect position to make a fabulous save as he moves across, reads it, and eats the puck right up.
And you know what was even greater? No rebound. Henrik Lundqvist, awesome rebound control in this game.
A shot by Maltby is held by Lundqvist.
I talked to Zetterberg prior to the game, fine player, and he's going to play for Detroit in the Olympics. He talked about Lundqvist, the goaltender, and said that he really feels they have a great chance to win a real big medal in the Olympics because of that man.
World Cup
he just settles him right down.
Excuse me, John. The World Cup of '04, he was the 3rd goaltender behind Tommy Salo and Michael Tellqvist.
You know,
didn't play, and they finished out of the money.
He left Sweden to play here this season for the Rangers. Their team had a need for a goaltender. You know who that is? Tommy Salo. Came out of retirement to take his spotlight.
So now you know the rest of the story. Roosevelt fires back around, and it is Ruchinski out there along with Marek Malik. Jágr has his usual position, just waiting at center near the checkered line, and eventually they're able to filter their way in. Roosevelt hooked it across to him.
Great, perfect position defensively. Perfect. Jágr, I don't think has a shot this period.
Do you think there was the notion among a lot of us who watched the sport that when the new rules came in, it would take care of the 1-2-2 that traps the left wing locks?
Some teams still try. There's a play. Look at Schneider right on the shot of Jágr, deflected it wide. So Detroit's playing Chelios and Schneider, the veteran defenseman, more against Jágr in this period than they did Lidstrom.
Because Jágr's taking longer shifts, John, and that's just breaking down the match.
Great opportunity, stopped by Lundqvist on a feed from Zetterberg out in front for Matthew Schneider. Zetterberg ripped that one right back along, but it went off Pruka. And all of this is on a delayed offside, which was wiped out as the Red Wings came out of that end. So nearing 3.5 to go in the second. 2 quick goals by the Red Wings, 2-1. Drive by Pruka, stopped by Legacy and covered, and he'll wait.
Molson Canadian is proud to welcome today's winners, Joel Asher and Chris Kozowski.
You talk about the new rules. Here's an example. Rangers pull someone here, that stretches a D out, and then you see the Rangers come right through the middle of the ice. That opens everything up and causes all kinds of problems for the Detroit Red Wings. Defensive zone covered, but just stretching the Detroit defense out, you can see the flow by the Rangers through the neutral zone.
Yeah, Pierre, I think they should do that a little more often. They haven't done it a terrific amount of times just yet as the puck goes into the netting. That was Jágr that stretched the zone, and then Straka came up in behind, and they were able to hit him with a pass. But Detroit's been good this period Detroit also talked about more shots this period. They've had 15, and there's still 3:18 to go in the period. The first period they had 9 for Mike Babcock and his hockey club.
Both of these teams are used to scoring a lot. And that has been their mantra, even though the Rangers have not had regular season success with it lately. This year they have. But in a year of special teams, that has been the main thing that has failed New York. Coming up on our Dodge Intermission Report, Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, special guest Mark Messier, bringing you highlights from today's NHL action, as well as a look at Penguins rookie phenom Sidney Crosby. That's coming up on our Dodge Intermission Report. We'll get a chance to see Sid the Kid again in Pittsburgh next Saturday afternoon when Philadelphia comes in.
He is a feisty, competitive hockey player.
Hey, Kerry Fraser was just warning Michael Samuelson no after the whistle kind of skirmish right there. He just went after Tom Poti. Kerry Fraser skated over the bench and said, none more of that. I got my eye on you.
He began refereeing at the age of 12 in Sarnia, Ontario with his father Hill in industrial league games. Men's games, not kids' games, at age 12.
Oh, 12, wow.
So you think he's used to giving warnings, or at least hearing a lot? On now comes Pruka. Watched by Woolley and canceled right out. Bunted across now for Cleary. Peter Pruka knocked it down and settled it down for an attempt at the front by Sikora that failed. And a chance now for the settle down play by Captain Steve Yzerman, just throwing it back into the glass. Roosevelt. But Cleary. Cleary again. And Yzerman. Back it comes to Schneider, and a save made by Lundqvist.
The last 2 best shots for Detroit have been Matthew Schneider, and both times all 3 forwards are in deep trying to find the puck. Started with a good cross-corner dump in by Yzerman. Detroit recovered the puck, and there is Yzerman hitting the late man, the defenseman. Look at him settle the puck down. That's experience. Born in New York City, Matthew Schneider gets the shot. Great shot. You can see why he's in the Olympics for Team USA. I mean, I think his career, he's become a better player as time has marched along.
Does that normally happen with defensemen as they get older?
Well, I guess some, and Steve Yzerman, the captain, made a nice play there too. Yeah, maybe with some, Mike. I think it's a situation with Schneider where he's still a mean defenseman too. You saw him take the cross-check penalty earlier as we have a little delay with the stick of Draper here.
Well, you'd have to think, although we won't put words or pens in Peter Laviolette's pad for the Olympics, you have to think Schneider and Chelios would be a pair because they've played together so much here in Detroit this year. They are the 2 U.S. representatives.
Bigger ice over there, but these 2 guys they skate well, both of them. And Chelios, his skating here in the second period has been terrific.
Well, if you want to talk about how old they are, how about they played together in Montreal as well back in the 80s?
Good point.
Here is Jágr. That was Franson. Oh, and a freight train hit was coming from Draper, but he just got the glass. Now Jágr ahead. Handed on to Straka, cannot find his way through.
No time, no space. Detroit having a very strong second period. We talked about what turned this game in Detroit's favor in the second period. I think a lot of it had to do with Chelios. Boom, right there. Big high hit on Pruka. Boom, hard hit there on Moore. Plays like that seem to get the team going a little bit. Chelios with a good game. You watch him play. He's a marvel at his age playing like that.
Whenever it does end, he's going to stay around, and he hinted he might play some more in the United League, but at least he'll be around, and that's normal for Red Wing players. We talked about the tradition and all that was done for Mark Messier just 2 nights ago at Madison Square Garden. A lot of that's happened here too. A drive by Moore got the glass. Centering pass by Ortmeyer, flagged down by Shanahan, started ahead by Chelios, but unable to get very far with Zetterberg, so help came from Datsuk. With Zetterberg drifting toward the net, Datsuk threw a prayer that was cut off by Malik. Ted Lindsay, whose banner hangs here, 80 years of age, still comes to games. Gordie Howe was here the other night too. Bud Lynch, the broadcaster from 1949, does the public address here at age 88, and he's good.
Oh, he's terrific. And that's why they call it Hockey Town.
You may have just overheard him talk about the last minute of play in this period. Much better for the Red Wings. They certainly needed one because the Rangers had played such a great road first.
And they've taken the Rangers, when they play well, they get a rhythm going. They rotate their lines, they get rhythm, they skate, they get offensive chances. They've had no rhythm here in the second period because Detroit does exactly what they're doing right here. They just control the areas of the ice where the Rangers want to exploit with speed to head into the zone and get offense. And Detroit's taken that away in a methodical fashion.
Well, let's take a look at upcoming televised games on OLN this week. Tampa Bay and San Jose on Monday. The New Jersey Devils and St. Louis on Tuesday. And then next Saturday afternoon, Philadelphia at Pittsburgh, Detroit at Colorado, and San Jose at Los Angeles, all on NBC.
As we think and we talk about hockey, let's wish Dave Andreychuk all the best. It looks like he's retiring at 42 years of age. What a career he had. And won the cup with Tampa Bay.
From this scrum, it is Nylander. Wheeling right back and shooting. He scores! Michael Nylander, and Legacy is protesting, perhaps about a high stick.
It's in the net. Kerry Fraser said goal. The Rangers have tied it up with only 14.6 seconds to go in this period. Lang is talking to Kerry Fraser too. Look at, oh, I see why. Look at that, look at Nieminen driving, look at that. Nieminen was like a bulldozer into Lang and Lidstrom. He just drove to the net, and as there was a collision, Nylander shoots the puck, and Legacy saying he couldn't make the save because of what Nieminen did. Nieminen drove to the net, he was being held up. He wanted to get to some space, he just started to go. Look at him go. That's like a lead blocker in football. And as he gets there, the puck goes over the shoulder. Oh, and he was right on top of the crease. Boy, I think Detroit's got an argument there when you see that play. Nieminen was given a penalty earlier for slashing, but this one's in the net. 14.6 to go. There's a delay here as Draper's talking to Kerry Fraser.
Not a reviewable situation.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, if the puck's over the line, it's in. It's the discretion of the referee as to whether or not there should be a penalty.
Is under video review.
The reason being, what? The puck going in and over the line, which it did. It's the discretion of the referee as to whether or not there's going to be a penalty. There could have been a penalty, but he didn't call it. So I don't think it can be stopped as a goal through review. The puck went over the shoulder. There was contact with the goaltender too, and the goaltender Legacy was well inside the goal crease. If it's a goal for the Rangers, they got away with not having a penalty called on Nieminen. But I don't think through the rules that are in the rule book that it is a play that can be stopped unless it was touched with a high stick by Nieminen above the crossbar.
Or maybe a
glove, yeah.
Pierre?
Just talking to the linesman right now, and they're saying it goes off. Potentially, Nieminen saying it went off his glove. But Nieminen saying that it went potentially off his glove.
And the key there, Pierre, is if it's deliberate. If it grazes off his glove and it's not deliberate, then it's a goal.
Exactly.
And the referee did not make a penalty call in the play, which he could have. So they're trying to figure it out through replay, which will be looked at as we speak in Toronto. Now here's the full replay. Let's look at where the puck is. Nieminen, number 92, will get it. Or pardon me, Nylander. Here's the shot. Oh. And they're allowing a goal. It may have gone off his glove. I don't know, but I know one thing. Nieminen could have had a penalty. There's no question. That's the discretion of the referee.
Nieminen went off his glove. Nieminen's clearly saying it went off his glove, but he didn't bat it in, so clearly it's a goal.
So we are going to end the second period in a tie situation unless there is a miracle shot coming from Maltby. There is not. And that takes care of it. A late goal scored by the New York Rangers here in the second period, and the game is tied after 2.
One more look at the tying goal. Nylander will get credit. Nieminen drives to the net. Let's see if he knows where the puck is. He's still trying to get to the net. He takes 2 men out doing it. Here comes the shot. It goes off his hand. He didn't see it coming, and he certainly made contact with the goaltender.
Let's check in downstairs with Pierre and Nick Lidstrom.
Nick, you're used to playing in a lot of matchup situations. How different is when you play against Jaromir?
It's a little bit tough. They usually put him out there when after we ice the puck and then we have a face-off in our own end, so it's tough. We can't get out there. And then he's kind of hanging out there a little bit longer than the regular shift, so it's very tough to match up against him.
Ville Nieminen just drove you into your goaltender. Is that what upset you on that last goal?
Yeah, it did. I'm trying to go after the puck carrier, and he takes it right into my own nets. I think it's an interference call on their part.
Thank you very much. Good luck, Nick.
Thank you.
That's the end of the second, 2-2. Stay tuned for the Dodge Intermission Report with Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, and special guest Mark Messier at the rink at 30 Rock. First, these messages. You're watching the NHL on NBC. Back at Joe Louis Arena, the second period stats brought to you by MasterCard. Better period for Detroit. They outshot them 17-8. Chances, draws, hits, still good. No reward on the scoreboard, though. Still 2-2. The NHL on NBC is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Reebok. I am what I am. And by Quiznos Steakhouse Beef Dip Sub. Now just $2.99 for a small. Only at participating Quiznos. Underway, third period. So with things being evened up late in the second, we talked about Mike Babcock probably having much to say between the first and second. We'll get to the second and third in a moment.
Here's the tying goal. Nieminen, like a rammer, just goes right to the front of the net. The Nylander shot goes off. I think Nieminen's glove and in. They reviewed it. They said a goal. Tom Rennie, the Rangers coach, as the review was happening, had some words.
Okay, Rooch. Billy said it hit his glove. Don't say anything over there. Just be aware of that.
Don't say anything over there. Ruchin's an assistant captain, so he can go over and talk to the officials. And he was just listening in case they had a discussion about the glove. If it went off the glove, it should be a Nieminen goal and not a Nylander goal then.
Ville Nieminen still saying on the bench, that went off my hand. He's sitting about 3 places down from me right now.
Do you have any touch with the official score, Pierre? I know you're connected enough to get to the weight room.
Well, I just talked to Kerry Fraser, and he said they'll look at it.
That was what that conversation was about.
That's correct.
Okay. So it was legitimate business this time. All right, back ahead now comes Ruchin. Ruchin just peels off. Pierre is having a lot of fun down there today. Podia shot deflected in front off of Lilia and stoked on. It is rare that you ever get a chance to be that close unless you are, as Pierre was at one time, a coach. But the game moves very fast down there. Here's Shanahan feeding one that is knifed away from Zetterberg and held by Schneider for a shot that was deflected up into the mesh.
Tom Podie's a big, tall defenseman, but he's not a physical defenseman, but he uses a stick well. And as the pass went in front of Lundqvist, the Rangers goaltender, it was Podie's stick that chipped it away. Did it once again.
I can tell you guys right now, New York Rangers have been challenged to go after Chris Chelios. They're saying, can a 44-year-old defenseman be better than you guys? And that's the mantra for the New York Rangers in this third period. Try to attack Chelios and beat him wide with speed.
Well, Chelios had a great second period. I thought he was the one player that turned the flow of the game at the time to the favor of Detroit. Chelios had a great second period.
He has been a warrior for us, was the comment of one of the Red Wings hierarchy. You start to think they're being questioned as to why they would, in the summer, bring a guy back like that. But he has shown that he is still that warrior today. This rattled off the back of the cage, and Chelios popped it back in front, reaching his Lang, and it's just nubbed back to center. Early stages, third period of a game that we're proud to bring you from Joe Louis Arena this afternoon. The Rangers and the Red Wings, a rivalry that goes back 80 years. To a side jostle. Then Ward. They try to get the cycle going. It's to Ward, but the shot was just deflected away by Lang. A little ragged right now, and so Chelios breaks that by passing behind for Schneider, who had trouble, and it came out in front where Legacy had to get his glove on it.
As Ward was right there, the Rangers, the more they can play in Detroit's zone, the less pressure they have on their defense as they're down to 5. Now, when Detroit's putting pressure on, you have to make a play to get out of your zone. Watch Nylander behind his own net do a little behind his back play. He goes to get the puck, screech, banks the puck off the backboard, and then makes a nice little pass, and all of a sudden Detroit's out of the zone, or pardon me, the Rangers are out of the zone and Detroit can't work the defense.
Hey John, I coached Michael Nylander in Hartford. He used to make plays like that in Old Boston Garden, and he said to me, Coach, you cannot be mad at me. I am the Swedish Wayne Gretzky.
And Pierre also coached a long time with Scotty Bowman, knows Scotty well. In fact, has a great story about Scotty on a cruise with his wife, but he has this little machine where you can watch hockey games on your computer. He's on a vacation on a cruise somewhere, and he spent 5 hours watching hockey games one night in the room on the yacht or on the ship. Isn't that beautiful, Pierre? That's Scotty at his best, isn't it?
His wife Sue Ellis thrilled to death. They're in Puerto Rico, and Scotty's watching hockey games. In fact, he called me after the second period in Colorado the other night and said, "Why aren't you harder on one of the players?"
Like he needed to tell you?
Scotty's beautiful.
Ahead now comes Jaromir Jagr. Taken over by Brett Lebda.
Nice check, though, by Draper on Yager.
The Illich family has owned this team since 1982. And the Scotty Bowman years were among the most productive of all. Here's Lidstrom shooting, and that went off a leg, and limping around out there right now is Pody. But the Rangers are able to bring it back, and it's lobbed on by Yager on a cross to be carried on by Marty Straka. Nicely by one, by two, across the wing for a rising shot that got the glass from Ruchinski.
And that was Chelios that took a run at Straka. Straka sidestepped him, and that opened up the ice completely.
But there's the challenge we alluded to.
It is Shanahan. Not sure Pierre was mid-sentence there, but we may have had a technical glitch. Meanwhile, it is hammered right back into the mesh. So Pierre, if we are able to hear you.
That's the matchup that we alluded to, though. They want to go after Chelios and challenge him with speed. Right there, Straka challenged him and beat him to the inside.
It is Lidstrom. Then on and through Roosevelt. We don't want to put you in a difficult strait, Pierre, but do you get any reaction from players when you're down that close talking?
A couple of them thought I was an assistant coach with the opposition. They say, those guys, he knows our game plan.
Shanahan a drive, deflected by Lundqvist behind. He's down, back up, big drive. Oh, and that one didn't get home from Schneider.
He missed his shot. That's a great opportunity. He had two great shots in the second period. He was a little mad at himself there. It was almost like a shank in golf. All he had to do was rip it and hit a corner. I mean, if you miss the goaltender, you should score from there. And Schneider has a great shot. Look at this pass in front. That's a beautiful play by Shanahan. And then look at Datsyuk with the pass, and there's the shot. And he either missed the net or it hit somebody or something, but it wasn't the shot he wanted. Here it comes again. Missed the net by a foot. That's what it was. Oh, boy. What a great play by Shanahan, moving the puck to the front of the net.
Well, fellas, I can tell you, Peter Sikora just came to the net. Schneider missing that. Peter Sikora is very lucky that he did, because Schneider beat Sikora to get that shot. Sikora's got to be better in defensive zone responsibility there.
Samuelsson played it along to Lang. Worked over a little bit by Nylander. Turning with it is Fedor Tutin, trying to start it back the other way for the Rangers, but the Red Wings rush right in their forecheck. It's pretty good. Pody broke it with a pass on to Tutin.
Good forecheck, but Rangers good pass work and short passes to get out of their zone.
Well, that first pass is the one that's so critical to getting out.
If you look at defensemen around the league, if you have the ability to make that good first pass, you've got a job. And Lidstrom's one of the best at it.
Woolley across. Brought back ahead by Samuelsson, but couldn't get any further, and then it is played back out to Chelios once more.
That was Nylander on the back check. Here he goes.
By one. Gains the zone, couldn't get the pass across and was buried on the check of Malik, but it's Datsyuk. Then around for a feed in front. Oh, and Shanahan, second effort. He scores!
Oh, so he's out of...
Chelios drew everybody to him. He was surrounded, and Malik absolutely tattooed him, but Detroit continued the play. There's the hit. But Detroit continued the play. And Shanahan is in front, got robbed, and it's amazing how he took the backhand side of the blade of his stick to chip the rebound up and in. And they play the Irish jig here in this building for the Shanahan goal. Watch the stick. It's turned over. Watch him get the rebound. Watch him get the rebound. There. What a brilliant little chip of the play.
Hey, John and Mike, you see how late Marek Malik is coming into coverage? Because he's the man that delivered the big hit on Chelios, and he admired it hit for too long, and that allowed Shanahan all that extra time and space to finish the second chance.
22nd goal of the year, second of the afternoon for Brendan Shanahan. He has had 17 20-goal seasons in his career. The great Gordie Howe had 22. That's the all-time leadership. But there are so many players in the NHL this year that are on target to either go past 50 or get very close. Shanahan's one, as trying to get off the ice, was Dominic Moore, but again it's scaled back in, and Roosevelt will retreat to play.
The first time that threesome, that big line, which was put together the last game, get together for a goal in this game was Zetterberg and Datsyuk getting the assist.
A little spark the Rangers hope for from Ortmeyer out there along with Marty Straka, but now he comes to the bench as it's given over for Lidstrom.
Like that last replay showing Shanahan turning his stick over and knifing the puck underneath it to flip it up. That's a brilliant play to find a way to get the puck up and over the goalkeeper.
would have been offside, and so dropping back is Strudwick. Brendan Shanahan, in a story that I know you've heard several times, always said that when he scored his first goal, he would kiss whoever it was that assisted on it. It occurred in Madison Square Garden in New York, no less. The Devils against the Rangers when Shanahan was a Devil, and Claude Loisel assisted and didn't know the celebration was coming. Anyway, retreating to play, oblivious to all of this, is Tom Poti.
Claude Loisel is now assistant general manager with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And is probably tired of hearing this story repeated. If it were just a little regional show, maybe okay. But for the world, no, I don't think so. Jaromir Jagr is just under 20 minutes in ice time. His team is down by 1.
Gotta get back hard, boys. We gotta get back hard, boys. Everybody back to the house. One tired guy is one too many.
It's head coach Tom Rennie. What he's talking about is back check. When Detroit's going down the ice with a puck, get back. And if you're too tired, get off the ice or at least have the energy and shorten your shifts, whatever the problem is.
When you talk about the house is the net. That's where they want them all back to the net. Back check right to your area, right in front of the net.
Peter Pruka around behind does not have the puck yet. Ruchin fed one in front. The net nearly dislodged, and Legacy is on top of it.
This is the Sakura Pruka Ruchin line, trying to find a way to tie it up. Pretty good work along the boards here. Pruka is such a competitor for a 172-pound man. And there's the little move. Cutting to the net is Ruchin, and he's about a 225-pound man. And you can see how the size actually worked on that play. Detroit changed their defense after that play at the net and put Chelios and Samuelson out there. Or pardon me, Schneider out there.
They kept Shanahan, but 43 seconds now becomes more as we keep track of his shift time. Pierre?
The major reason why they made that change, because Jagr wasn't on the ice.
Datsuk in front. It's blocked aside by Tom Poti, who's had a solid game. Pumped right back, and Sakura goes one-on-one with Matthew Schneider and sailed a wrist shot wide. Rangers settle things down as the Red Wings get Shanahan off at 1:11.
Sakura trying to find his game conditioning. He said the last month in Anaheim where he used to play, he didn't play a real ton of minutes. And so he has to play games now to really get the game conditioning. You can work and practice all you want, but a game is a different thing.
Angled ahead for control by Michael Nylander. Puts on the brakes, trying to shake Robert Lang. And they'll have to dump and chase, but Red Wings can take over in the person of Chelios. A 3-2 game. Shanahan with a pair, breaking a tie, and then eventually having to break it again to put his team ahead. Nearing the halfway point of the third period. Back come the Rangers and Ward. Gives to Straka with Ward breaking. Nice denial by Chelios. Fed in front. Oh, and unable to deflect it home with Ward. Centering pass, and that cut off by Williams, who steams back out and goes to work on Strudwick.
He's on his own now. His entire team is changing.
And Nieminen really freight trained him to the wall, so it is now controlled by the Rangers, and the Red Wings have gotten that change made. They bring out Steve Yzerman as this one goes wide and is handled by Lidstrom. Dan Cleary is out there playing along with Yzerman and Thomas Holmstrom. And the pass heads for Holmstrom. Couldn't get it ahead, swung right back in, and the Rangers go barreling in once they make a change in defense. They send in 2 on the forecheck, but it comes over for Dan Cleary. Now we're halfway through the third. 28 shots to 20 Detroit. Back ahead comes Cleary and gains the zone. Backhands one that's blocked aside by Lundqvist, but into some traffic. Nudged ahead by Tuki. Now it's the Rangers' turn on attack. Moore has Ortmeyer and flopped it into his corner and comes to the bench for a change.
Both teams had their fourth lines on the ice to try to get more energy for their star players. Quick change now by the Rangers to get their better players on the ice. Now Detroit's responding with Draper, Maltby, and Franzen on the ice against Jagr's group.
All those quick changes, Pierre, how many guys does it take to engineer those at the bench?
Just one, the head coach.
Sakura drive, blocked away by Legacy. Nice move by Schneider to finesse Sakura and get the puck back ahead for his team. Matthew Schneider, Chris Chelios, Nick Lidstrom, all with a lot of ice time at defense today. Good screen off there. It might have been a chance for Franzen. No penalties since midway in the second period. Held by Legacy. 1-goal game here at Joe Louis Arena. The home team ahead.
Quiet resolve on the New York Ranger bench, intestinal fortitude, and challenging one another on the Detroit bench. They're saying no shortcuts, get pucks in deep, and do not turn it over at the blue lines.
Ruchin to take the draw against Datsuk. Ruchin reached it, nicely got it back. Tootin' a shot that was shrugged away by one of the Detroit defenders, I believe Datsuk. Then sent out by Zetterberg. Datsuk nicely feeds on now to Shanahan. Shanahan back for Datsuk, but he has to settle it down and fire it around. Now gotten by Shanahan. Looking for the hat trick. Wanting to make a play to Zetterberg, and he does. Then Datsuk again. Shanahan to the front. It's worked to the outside, but taken over by the Rangers and handed across. Peter Sikora banked it back in. Chelios patrolling there with Marshall Ruchin. They cancel out, and so it's Datsuk trying to play, but Pruka in the way. Two-a-side battle, and it's worked loose to the front where it's fed on now for Cody's drive. Rattled off the pipe. Just that close.
Started with Pruka stealing the puck from behind the net from Schneider. That's that junkyard dog attitude again.
Schneider ahead. Zetterberg tips it out of harm's way, and Cody seems shaken up. Looks like he's headed over to the bench, but now here's a chance. He had to take a man down. A penalty coming up. It looked as though Cody was hurt. Didn't want to let him go all alone, and so had to drag him.
Draper with those quick legs was gone. He exploded. He exploded with the puck and then reached out and grabbed him. Rangers were making a change. Look at Draper take off, and he would have been in. So you could see Pody reach over and pull him down. Detroit with a 1-goal lead have a chance to work on the power play. Pody here will move to the side, take the shot, and caught the outside of the goalpost. Rangers nearly tied it up. Now they have to try to find a will to kill a penalty here. Detroit does have one power play goal in this game. There it is off the outside of the post.
Steve Yzerman is out there to help with the power play near the front of the net. His next power play goal will be number 200. The hook to Pody at 12-10. Detroit is 1 for 4 on prior power plays, leading in the game by 1. Ortmeyer could not get by the defense. Plopped right back in again by Yzerman. Overskated by a pair. Shanahan tumbles down. Fed back to Lidstrom. On a cross now it comes for a pass over to Robert Lang. Sets up Nick Lidstrom. Waits and then gives back to Lang for a one-timer that is canceled right out by Lundqvist. Lidstrom again. Nicely finessed through Ortmeyer and got it on to Lang. Little battling at the front. Shanahan tangled up there with hulking Marek Malik. Onto the back it comes for Lidstrom again. Over to Lang. Nick Lidstrom, pretty good challenge and a swat into him that came from Dominic Moore. But Lidstrom walking it across backhandedly there, gives it over for a drive by Williams that is grabbed by Lundqvist.
Off of Shanahan, so face-off I think will go outside, Mike.
Hey, you've got to give a lot of credit to Dominic Moore right there, Jed Ortmeyer. Lidstrom and Williams couldn't get any pucks to the goal because Moore and Ortmeyer did a great job getting in the shooting avenues. That's sacrificing for the team. And John, as being a former goaltender, you can appreciate guys that sacrifice blocking shots.
Well, you're looking at two of them there, Moore and Ortmeyer. They've been together on the same line all season long, and they kill penalties for the Rangers every single game. And Pierre, I think over the years, that's now become a weapon for teams. Coaches never used to make their players block shots like they do now.
Well, I know one guy in Montreal that's about to. Guy Cardinal is going to be named head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. He's really the guy that put shot blocking into vogue.
But everybody does it now. It used to be 1 or 2 players per team.
Drive by Lidstrom, remarkably canceled back out by Lundqvist and eventually taken by Matthew Schneider. 22 to go on the Rangers' kill. If they're able to do that, there'll be 5:50 left in regulation time and only 1 goal to make up on the board.
December 26th, the Rangers got shellacked in Ottawa. They've had at least 1 point in 7 games since. All 7 games they've played since, and right now they trail as Detroit tries to make it a 2-goal lead.
Malik on the dump in from Lilia. Kept by Schneider. But again, big Marek Malik in the way of that. 6'5", 215 pounds. 1 goal and 6 shots and 8:19 of power play time. And their average is going to suffer from their performance today. Up the half boards, it's Jágr, but losing. So Franzen brings it ahead. Has Draper and Maltby onside with Franzen breaking. Score!
I want to play defensively. Defense led to offense, and this is that unit against the Yager line. Boy, did Maltby do a good job to stay onside. They steal a puck from Yager. He can't stop them. Now Maltby takes off and he slams the brakes on to stay onside. Play continues, and there's the reaching deflection past Lundqvist as Franzen got to the net. This is a brilliant goal. Look at the pass by Draper. A little deflection, and it's through the legs and in. 4-2 Detroit. Started with defense. There's the pass, there's the deflection. And I'll tell you, those two forwards, the pass and the goal was something, but Maltby stopped to not go offside. That was a great play.
Absolutely right, but the biggest thing in the matchup game, the defensive guys are beating the offensive guys 2-1 right now, and that makes a big-time difference in a game like this, John.
It is Lang trying to filter his way through, and Tootin said no to that one. So now the gap for the Rangers is 2. Franzen's 8th goal of the year at 14:39. Traditionally, you don't think of a grind line that has a newcomer. And the only draft pick the Red Wings had in the first 3 rounds of that year, but look at this rush. It's a 3-on-1. Samuelsson back and just arriving in time to break the play up that time was Tom Poti. Now Sikora back across for Pruka. Sikora hatcheted 1-1. To the last 4.5. Draper gets the only assist on the Franzen goal. Nice finesse move by Nylander, but he couldn't get it to the front.
Nylander doesn't like to shoot. He's a disher of the puck. Sometimes when you're in a position trailing by 2 goals, anything on the net could lead to a rebound or anything.
Red Wings like Hawks, a steal there, but then it's gotten right back for a shot by Ward that was off the mark. Comes back near Ward again. The aggressiveness we saw in their penalty kill is also what we've seen since the second period started for Detroit. Malik there. Kicked on back and Roosevelt. Nearly stripped to the puck by Zetterberg. Right back across it. Careens, and here comes Shanahan. Looking for 3. Rang it off the pipe! Or it would have been a hat trick. Roosevelt right back the other way. And that was blocked aside by Legacy.
Those new skates he's wearing, those are light feet, man. He was flying up the ice, absolutely flying.
New skates, new sticks this year, and here he comes again. Shanahan along across for a drive. That Lundqvist got rebound. Oh, and Shanahan couldn't poke it home there. Sent one off of Lundqvist to the point. Holding and firing it back around now was Brett Lebda.
On the bench right now, fellas, Steve Yzerman's asking Jed Ortmeyer, is your lineup, meaning Ortmeyer's 4th lineup? That means Yzerman's 4th line goes up. And now Ortmeyer comes. Yzerman wants to get on the ice, but he's challenging Ortmeyer right here on the bench. It's fantastic.
4th line against 4th line.
Well, Steve Yzerman's not a 4th line guy, but he's on a 4th line here.
Yeah, oh, God.
It's fantastic.
Well, they had Yzerman on the power play earlier for Detroit.
That's right, the game within. It's great to have you right down there eavesdropping on all this, Pierre.
Oh, it's fantastic to be down here, especially when you see an artist like Jaromir Jagr go to work.
Gotta feel like the FBI. You sure that's legal?
Roosevelt across, drive by Ortmeyer. He scores! A deflection in front, and it's 4-3 in favor of the Red Wings with still 2:26 to go.
Well, this was a strange one too, wasn't it? It was a shot that hit somebody, changed speeds completely. Roosevelt across, Ortmeyer with the shot, it hit somebody's foot and went up. It went right past Dominic Moore's ear, Lebda's ear, and underneath the crossbar. Got some strange stuff this afternoon. Oh, look at that. It did hit Moore. It may have gone off of Moore and in. That was a good replay there. Ortmeyer's shot was deflected, headed wide, and I think it hit Moore, maybe even on the helmet, and went back in underneath the crossbar. And Kerry Fraser is now making sure that it's a legal goal. It has to be legal. It was not hit by a stick above the crossbar height, I don't think. This will be a second strange goal the Rangers have had in this game. It hit the skate and then went off of somebody and back over the shoulder of Manny Legacy.
You know, Lebda was looking at his glove. Maybe it was him.
That looks like it's going to go wide off the foot, right? Now it goes up and over. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe off the defenseman. It will be an Ortmeyer goal off the defenseman. led by Wright?
Yes.
Weird.
Well, it is now a one-goal game, and the Rangers back in it and gaining the zone, but seeing his pass ricochet along with Ruchinski and roaring on back as Zetterberg has Shanahan. Zetterberg, a backhander, fought off by Lundqvist. Rebound, tackled right near the goal line, but not over, and it's lifted back out to center.
Detroit's had about 6 odd-man rushes in the last 3 minutes.
They've had those odd man rushes, fellas, because the Rangers are trying to jump their defense and to get back into this game. They're 1 goal down now. Maybe they want to be a little bit safe, but there's only 1:50 to go right now.
Straka sails it in, a deflection. No icing call. Toss comes ahead to Jason Williams. Red Wings changing. Nice little dish across to Samuelsson. Cruising and shooting. It's off of Lundqvist and pops to the side of the net. Lang spirited it in front, but it started right back out again by Ward. Charging up with Ruchin. Tried to play it in. Legacy there. Flips it away to the wall. Lang steers it back the other way, and here they come again. Samuelsson holds and shoots, and it's covered by Lundqvist.
And 1:18 to go. Rangers have their timeout available. They may want to use it right here, simply to get a game plan together to see what happens for the rest of the way and how to get the goaltender out of the net and when. Samuelsson made a great move. Oh, goodness. Here's the backhander by Zetterberg, and in a second, right along the goal line, and there was Sikora along with Poti to help the Rangers out. There's the shot up off the shoulder. Here comes the rebound between the right arm and body. 3 or 4 inches from being another goal for Detroit. 4-3 Detroit, 1:18 to go. A timeout has been called, I assume, by the Rangers with the face-off in the Rangers zone.
The Rangers did call timeout, John. And what you're going to see is probably Martin Ruchinski stay on the bench. Once the puck gets in the offensive zone, Martin Ruchinski should replace the goaltender. At least that's what the coaching staff's talking to Ruchinski about right now.
And of course, Detroit's going to have their Draper unit on the ice.
Absolutely.
With their, of course, they're so schooled defensively.
Let's take a look at our Ram Tough Line, brought to you by Dodge. And this has been a tough line today. Henrik Zetterberg, Pavel Datsyuk, Brendan Shanahan. You see what they've contributed to this game.
I think Shanahan's been the best of those 3. Draper's the defensive center here. Had first started in the NHL playing for the Winnipeg Jets. Bob Murdoch was the coach, and his assignment was Pavel Bure playing for the Vancouver Canucks. That's when he first started this role at the NHL level.
And has won the draw. It is Nick Lidstrom with it. The battle on, and Franzen is there.
Big guy.
Then Draper, then Yager. Lifted back along near Franzen again. The deflection goal was his earlier. Around behind, he is closed off by 2. Plenty of time the other way, and time's a wasting for the New York Rangers. They cannot get Lundqvist off. They want to get the extra man on with 48 to go. More containment by Detroit, but then it's Tootin again.
43 seconds. The Detroit line won the draw and kept the puck in the Rangers zone. Now the Rangers finally get it.
Here is Yager handing to Straka. Lundqvist at the hash marks, now charges toward the bench. It's second efforted on by Nick Lidstrom, but brought back by Yager. Centering pass kicked right back. Yager again in the last 25. Close quarters, it's sent by Nylander, grabbed off and laid back out again by Zetterberg. Chased down and controlled by Ruchinski. 15 to go. Tom Poti nudges it ahead. Straka floats it back in, but it's Lilja's puck to play for Detroit. Floats one that is hacked right back, settled down by Shanahan, battled for in a pileup of players. Straka there, closed off by Draper, nudged back out, and the horn sounds. The Red Wings have won it.
The horn sounds before the puck went into the net. It's a 4-3 Detroit win. Rangers were down a defenseman going in. They battled hard. Detroit showed, especially with Chris Chelios leading the way, why they're number 1 in the West. Chris Chelios had a great second period to get his team fired up.
They are knowledgeable folks here in Detroit. I would expect that Chris Chelios will be one of the 3 stars. Boston is headed for overtime. You're going to see that. You've just seen quite a game here. The Red Wings have defeated the New York Rangers at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit by a score of 4-3.